let's talk about some Australian rules football.
Yep.
Round 12, the first of the bye round. So now we've got 3 rounds where there's only 6 games of footy.
Yep.
It is better than the State of Origin affected rugby league games where you only get 4 games. I was looking at the fixtures for this weekend, and I thought, oh geez, no St George Dragons, no Carlton Blues. What am I going to do with myself? Turns out a little bit of interest around, the wide world of sports. There's always something to do.
There's always something.
Something happened.
Friday night, Geelong get the victory against the Western Bulldogs by 13 points there at Marvel. The big story, I suppose, Bailey Smith, hot boy Bailey Smith, the sickest mullet in the AFL, headbutts Zach Tui, gets 2 weeks. There was definitely intent. It wasn't accidental.
How bad was this? Like a Zidane, or is this like a no? Okay.
No, not quite Zidane, who was channeling his inner Jurassic Park, those dinosaurs that just butt heads, or his inner Homer Simpson when he starts, headbutting the dude, the safari dude. No, this was an old Liverpool kiss kind of, you're getting in each other's grill, and it's just a little, just a little follow through. Right. Yeah,
I did see promos for the Cambozi fight that he was that there was an interview between Cambozi and Bailey Smith, so maybe Cambozi gave him a few tips.
Maybe I don't know if headbutting is allowed in the
it's
WCF.
Accidental head
It's
clashes.
not, but
accidental. I think our friends at Sportsbet as well were saying the undercard was going to be Bailey Smith and Zach Tui going at each other. They embraced after the game, shook hands, got on with it like men.
Just a bit of fire that
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But it's definitely tempting, but if someone's yelling in your face with that fucking Irish accent, his breath probably stinks of whiskey. Just to give him a little.
Was it a head massage? Like he just come forward and they kept his heads together?
No, it was a headbutt. I think it's a genuine headbutt. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but 2 weeks is fair. That's
2 weeks. Tui just gets a fine. But the real winners on the night were the Geelong Cats. Jeremy Cameron booted 6. I think he had 4 in the first quarter. These 2 teams, I think Geelong will play finals footy. We've got that big question mark around the Bulldogs this year. Yeah. Obviously, an obvious drop off since last year. But look, we're only halfway through the season. There's plenty of time to turn it around. We'll talk about that battle for that 8th spot later in the pod.
I was going to say they'll probably sneak their way into the back end of the top 8 and may shock some teams in the finals because they've got a great list. It's just for whatever reason, the chemistry's just not putting it together.
Nothing better than sneaking your way into the back end. Adelaide took on the West Coast Eagles yesterday.
Nothing in that. Oh, no,
the second one.
The second one. Yeah.
We've got
hams it up a little bit.
Didn't cut him or anything. A little bit of madness ensued.
It looks worse with the mullet.
The flick back. It is a fucking good mullet. He's a hot boy.
Yeah.
Adelaide beat West Coast yesterday. Sean's, your notes on this one was West Coast suck.
Well, I think I turned it on to see what the score was, and Adelaide were up 30 to nothing, and I was like, yeah, West Coast suck.
And then after that, West Coast, it was really just that first quarter.
They tightened it up, yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, they're really struggling now down there at the bottom of the ladder, so yeah, it'd be tough for them to get out. Adelaide looked good. Tex looked like he played well.
Yeah, he kicked 3. Shane McAdam, Darcy Fogarty also
his contract
3.
as well coming up. So
I think Suns are interested.
Yes,
by all accounts. I think he may have said something along the lines of, "I want to stay in Adelaide."
Long term there.
Yeah, we'll see what gets thrown at him. Rory Laird, very good for the Crom there with 33 disposals and
but the fact that
roll.
So go back to West Coast sucking. The fact that Crom are $1.11,
which is too short. It's too short. Yeah. So West Coast covered the line in this one. Adelaide probably don't play finals footy this year. You wouldn't think.
Not a top 8 side.
West Coast held the line, which is the first time they've been able to keep the margin under 50 in the last 8 games. So again, back to the note of West Coast suck. Fair enough.
Then Dire Straits, they're very injured, a bit old, don't have quality young guys coming through yet, and so, they're going to have to rebuild and retool for the first time in a long time for West Coast fans. So
can never remember them being bad ever.
No.
Any news on Taylor Walker?
Not just yet.
Just chat.
Just rumours.
Just rumours. Apparently,
just cane corns.
Yeah, he reckons that there was a lot of chat that he might be moving across to Port But
I'd heard that too.
No,
That's
that
just-
doesn't happen. That's,
Stay in
that's
Adelaide?
clickbait.
There's
that's
no way that's
clickbaity.
happening.
That's Kane Cornsy. I
Don't know
don't remember
where
eating
that's from.
corn. Fucking.
There'd be a lot of clubs that would want a veteran
Oh,
tour that can
bloody
kick
oath.
goals.
Yeah, bloody
100%.
oath.
You know, yes,
I
maybe
wonder
you have to
as
manage
well-
his minutes going forward, but
He's still so good.
He's still good.
I wonder if the the on the nose comments last year and the suspension plays into.
reckon that hurts his stock.
Yeah, definitely. I think some teams will think, no, we don't want that storyline coming, especially in
True.
in an era where we have Indigenous round and it's spoken about so much, and Collingwood, all their problems with alleged racism and Eddie Maguire losing his job over it. I think a lot of teams would just say, no, we don't want that heat out of a 32, 33-year-old.
though if he goes out, he won't win the Coleman. But if he goes out, finishes the top 5 in the Coleman, you kind of go, do I weigh that risk and get a guy that's going to kick us a fuckload of goals and potentially help us win a premiership?
Yeah, interesting. Can you get up the Coleman as we talk about the Gold Coast Suns beating the Kangaroos? The Roos, they started well. They
Speaking of teams that suck.
won the first quarter. One is definitely pretty sucky in here.
well-
One's seeming to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, have you seen all the chats about the potential trade for Jason and him going anywhere? Essentially, I've seen
Horn Francis.
I've seen so many fake trades been thrown out of him moving on.
Again, rumours, clickbait. Does he want to go back to South Australia? Is a lot of the
Port Adelaide again, going back to Port Adelaide, they of course want someone in the forward line. So, yep.
Is he just doing the old I'm not happy here, pay me kind of chat? He did limp off as well in this one. Gold Coast won this pretty handily. The Roos, they started well, but they didn't show up for quarters 2 and 4. They were scoreless in the second and only kicked 2 points in the fourth. How about this? 13 different goal scorers for the Suns. We spoke about the Western Bulldogs, where they had 16 a few weeks ago. 13 for the Gold Coast Suns. Only Sam Day and Isaac Rankin kicking 2. Sam Day, his first game back for the Suns in quite some time. He did a knee last year and then a foot after that. Maybe some sort of speculation as to, is he in the Suns' best 22, with Levo Casbolt sort of being resurgent in his career. Poor fella, he's had a rotten run. I don't think he's completed a full 22 games ever in his career. He's had shoulder problems, knee, ankle, the rest of it. But good to see him out there and kicking 2. Now, what wasn't good to see was Lockie Weller. He went. There was only 5 minutes left in the game. Suspected ACL. It looked bad. It was the old non-contact, no one around kind of sniper situation.
Yeah, they usually end up being ACLs, unfortunately.
So Hugh, I imagine, be getting his scans today or tomorrow. Let's hope it's not a season ender for Lockie Weller. The Suns, they improved to 6-6. They're 4 from their last 5. They have the bye next week, and it'll be the Roos battling that West Coast Eagles for the spoon, I believe. They play GWS at Marvel next week. They are only ahead of West Coast by 1.5 percentage points. Percentages? I don't know what the...
1.5%.
Yeah, 1.5%. There you go. That'll work.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Now,
let's talk about some good football.
yeah, the game of the week, the game of the round, Sydney upsetting the Melbourne Demons at the MCG. The D's, they started hot in the first quarter, and then the Swans sort of came back to have a 2-point lead at half.
It's good to see a young Swans team grind out a football game.
Without Buddy.
Without Buddy, yes.
So we were asking last
Big
week.
question last week. Yeah.
Are they too reliant on Lance Buddy Franklin, Lance of 1,000 goals fame? As per Adam Cooney, he said they are too reliant on Buddy Franklin. Well, they just went out away and beat the defending premiers without Buddy Franklin. So I suppose, Adam Cooney, he's got a Brownlow. He's a first overall draft pick, but I think he may have dropped the ball on this one. The Swans go out and make a statement. No, we aren't that reliant on Buddy Franklin. We can win without him. Logan McDonald, the young 19-year-old, he stepped up with 3. Sam Reid
he's
also
the one,
had 3.
He's the one.
The passing of the baton, the proverbial baton. Swans have the bye next week. The D's the D's have lost 2 on the trot.
Well, they're 0-2 underneath Albanese so far. So that's been the chat this week.
The Albanese, eh? Oh, interesting.
Change of PM and they've gone from good to bad.
I hadn't thought of that. They have lost 2 in a row for the first time since mid 2020.
Yep.
Good for the comp. This is good for the comp, I believe. I think 2 weeks ago it was kind of like, Melbourne in the AFL, Penrith in the NRL. You're kind of thinking who can beat these teams, and then Freo and the Swans go out and they say, look, there's a few other sides that you need to have. Yeah, exactly. You need to have in your premiership. Contenders. Well, and Melbourne have lost 2 in a row.
So the top 4, then there's only one Victorian team, yeah, because we're talking Freo, Brisbane, and Sydney.
Yes. Yeah. So St Kilda and Carlton and Geelong all sitting out. No, Geelong as it stands. Okay. Actually, no, that will stand because St Kilda have the bye. So Geelong will finish round 12 in the top 4.
Yep. Yeah, no, true.
Interesting. No, I'm just thinking.
Close.
Spitballing.
Thinking about finals coming. Well, it might not happen now. It's like some of those teams kind of showing their wares. Sydney beating Melbourne is a good way to signal your intentions for the final series. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was just interesting to see what happens going forward.
Massey Gawn, he did his best efforts last night. How about this for a stat line? 18 kicks, 10 handballs, that's 28 disposals out of your ruckman, 9 marks, 30 hit-outs, 3 sausage rolls. They play Collingwood next week on the Queen's birthday Monday. The big freeze has been a staple in the AFL fixtures now for quite some time. Expect him to go well against the Collingwood Magpies without Brodie Grundy. Speaking of Collingwood, they currently lead Hawthorn by 17 points in a wet.
Yeah, it looks like it's raining.
It looks very wet.
Where are they playing?
It's the MCG there, back.
Yep.
That is
in Melbourne.
That is third quarter. Yeah, well, it's raining everywhere.
Yeah, it's raining here. Oh, it's fucking cold here. It's probably the difference.
Sure is.
Tell me about it.
Now, we have a logjam for that 8th spot. So, as it stands, the Bulldogs have 8th. If the Pies go on to win this, they have that 17-point lead. They will jump into that 8th spot. The Dogs, Tigers, Suns, Pies all currently on 24 points. Freo Brisbane, that will be the Sunday night game.
Big game.
Our time, Sunday Arvo over there in the West. Massive, massive game. That is 2 versus 3. The Lockie Neal Bowl, if you will. A lot of talk about Nat Fyfe making his AFL return. He played in the Waffle yesterday for the Peel Thunder.
Did you see he was signing autographs at 3/4 time?
He got mobbed. It was Lance Franklin kicks 1,000 scenes there as Peel Thunder beats Subiaco by 4 points.
Yeah.
It was also I saw the photo of the Peel Thunder debutantes getting around as well. Three young blokes, getting into their first Waffle game, and Nat Fyfe. Let's hope the young bloke goes okay. He did okay. He had 24 disposals in their 6-point win. You'd imagine lines up for Fremantle next week.
I'd say so, if he's healthy. And like we've been talking, potentially they could just manage him a little bit. He doesn't need to play a full game straight away, work him back in there. But I think it makes more sense instead of trying to throw him out against the Lions for a very competitive game. You
throw him to the Lions. I see what you did there.
Who do they play next week? Do they have a little bit of a nicer matchup?
They play Hawthorn next week.
That's a nicer matchup for them. Get him in there, get him some game time, maybe not play a full game and see how it goes.
60% on the ground, 70%, something like that.
Yeah, easy done.
Yeah. Monks, the Coleman medal count has got a new leader with Charlie Curnow having the week off. Jez Cameron.
That's it. Yeah, Jez Cameron. He's taken the lead with 38 goals. Curnow's just behind him on 37, so you'd probably expect him to take that back over next game. And then, Tom Hawkins, 33, Max King at 32, and finishing out the top 5, we've got Tom Lynch at 31.
Interesting 2 cats, 1 and 3, the Twin Towers there with the Tomahawk and Jez Cameron.
Well, they are an older team, so they might slightly play an older brand of football as well. More traditional in that way.
It's pretty good.
Still pretty good, yeah. Like getting goals.
It's not getting goals. It's not like West Coast old.
No. I think they showed before Scott Penberry, and this got 9,000 disposals as well. Joined the 9,000 club.
It's over 9,000.
I was waiting for one of you to do that, to quote it. So
I didn't even really watch that show, but I know that one.
yeah, everyone knows that one. So, yeah, bit of an interesting stat there for a long time pie.